Right, AIS for the feet. We want this to be bent. You need to be bent at about 90 degrees. The starting position is out here, but we're going to follow up with a second position nice and tight. So you see the difference in knee flexion and hip flexion for each movement. When the leg's out like this, it's going to focus more on the meat of the calf. As you bring the knee closer and closer into your body, it's going to focus more on your Achilles area. So we'll start out here, grab underneath, and pull back towards you. Make sure you don't pull directly back towards you, or you might impinge that joint there. So instead, give a slight upward pull as you do the exercise. If you struggle to reach forward towards your feet, you can grab a strap and use that to help you. Now, I'm also going to do it with some rotation. And then if I reach my other hand, I'm going to do the inward rotation. One thing to watch for is a lot of people might end up out there. You want the ankle to move and the foot to move, but not the hip. So if you have to, hold your hip in. Then I'm going to pull it in tight here and repeat the process. Exactly the same. I understand not everybody has this much knee flexion. Get as close as you comfortably can to emphasize the tissue right around the heel. Right around the heel. I pull outward as I lift up, both everting and pronating the foot, and then inward as I lift up, inverting and supinating the foot. Now in particular, if you are having some circulatory issues in your ankle, what you'll want to add to this is every time you get to the top, push down with your calf muscles as though you're pushing on the gas or the brake of your car. So stretch and then contract over and over and over again to force tremendous amounts of blood in and out of your ankle. This becomes a very, very good exercise for you. And now we're going to switch positions. Hopefully you can get here. Now I'm going to work on plantar flexions. If you have hammered toes and you're particularly sensitive here, don't pull from the toes. Pull from the top of the foot. As your flexibility increases, you'll be able to add the toe movement to the stretch. Now I'm going to change my hand placement to the outside and come up, more or less towards my face. Then I'm going to come to the top and I'm going to evert and down towards the floor. Always working on plantar flexion. Now I'm going to do some inversion. It's going to work ideal if you get your ankle to 90 degrees in order to start working on your inversion, eversion, supination, pronation. So I get my ankle to 90 degrees. Hand wrapped around there, hand there, and invert. And switch my grip from here for inversion, here for eversion. Notice how I pull up to help keep me at 90 degrees there. Use my shin as a bit of a wedge for myself, some support in the fulcrum. Now we're going to come through and work directly on the toes. I'm going to hold all these toes back while I work on bringing this one down. and then the next one, and the next one, etc., etc. Some details to consider. If my toe were rotated this way, I would de-rotate my toe before I stretched it. It might be better for me to push from this joint first if I'm extremely sensitive through the tissue, as opposed to the distal joint. Or you might find it most comfortable to pull on the entirety of each joint at about the same pace and with about the same force. When you pull with your finger over all of the joints, you'll find it to deliver a much fuller stretch. One toe at a time. Next, I'm going to work on spreading my toes. And get between. I don't want to spread from the tips there. That'll mostly just stretch the skin. In order to make sure that I get the stretch deeper down between my metatarsals, I want to get my fingers on the metatarsals, not on the phalanges. Get them on the metatarsals and grip my foot quite strong, and then pull my fingers away from each other. Remember, even though these are very small, difficult movements to do, try to use your muscles to make it happen. Don't make it completely passive. Always a little bit of activity. So here I've been working very linear. One toe's going up, one toe's going down. Now I'm going to bring this toe down that way at a 45-degree angle, while my big toe comes upwards towards my face at about a 45-degree angle. Once again, my pull now is from the metatarsal underneath on the metatarsal head, and here it's pretty similar on the metatarsal. And then I'll go the other way. This toe is going to go down that way at about 45-degree angle, while this one goes upward at a 45-degree angle. Doing my best to pull from the metatarsals. You should feel the stretch in here, not in here. When you get towards these last couple of toes, quite frequently people's toes have been turned in so long that the skin here is remodeled and it's very, very easy to tear. So as you work now on these movements going backwards, be very, very, very aware of the potential to literally split your skin. Should that happen, make sure you clean it, take care of it. Feet are not always the cleanest place. It's an opportunity for bacteria to potentially get in, especially if you already have any issues with fungus or bacteria on your feet. Once again, if you pull the whole length of the toe, it's going to be a broader, gentler stretch, and it's also going to be easier on this skin that might have tightened up quite a bit. Notice before I stretch, I'm derotating.